What's our goal for today? What do you think is our goal for today? Growth or decay, right? Deciding whether it's growth or decay. So if I show you this equation right here, could you tell me whether it was growth or decay? Yes? What do you think it is? Why do you think it's decay? What's less than 1? What's it called? Remember? You can help her. B. B is less than 1. What else is it? I'm glad that you know it's less than 1, but that's not the only parameter, right? Greater than 0. Okay. So what about a problem that looks like this? Y equals a times 3/2 to the x power. Is that growth or decay? So why do you think people might say decay? Because it's a fraction, right? But I was very clear yesterday that we can't just think it's a fraction. We have to think about whether it's between 0 and 1 or whether it's greater than 1 for this exact reason right here. Okay, so this is growth because b is greater than 1. So like when you're doing your homework today, you're thinking, I know I have to write work. What should I write for work? Well, you've got the problem written. You got to tell me if it's growth or decay, and then tell me why this is your work. Does that make sense? Okay. So y, what about y equals a times 3/4 x? You think that's decay? Because why? What's greater than 0 and less than 1? B, right? Decay, 0 is less than b is less than 1. It's decay, okay? But here's a quick question. You can tell me it's growth or decay without even knowing what A is? Do we care what A is? Ever? Yeah, sometimes, right? We got to know what A is because that tells us about like stretches or compressions, right? Or shrinks. But when we're talking about deciding whether it's growth or decay, we don't care about A, do we? In fact, that's all the examples I'm going to show you today with A. They'll all have A, and all your homework has A as well. Okay? All right, what about this one? Growth, because B is greater than 1. Okay? All right, what about this one? Uh-oh. Right? What's true about all these first examples that I showed you? It's just x. X is isolated in the exponent, right? So can I just tell growth or decay right now? I cannot. I have to make sure my uh, x or my t, whatever variable I choose, m, n, whatever, I have to make sure that is isolated in the exponent before I can decide whether it's growth or decay. Okay? So remember our exponent foldable, right? There's this law right here, the power of powers. So if I have an exponent raised to a power, that's the same as multiplying those two things, right? So what if I rewrote this problem like this? Y equals a times 2 to the 1/3 times t. You think I'm allowed to do that? You think I'm allowed to rewrite it like this? Isn't t over 3 the same as 1/3 over times t? It is, right? So that's fine. Now if I use this power of power rules, if I know this is true, can I go backwards? Are these two truly equal? If they're truly equal, I should be able to go backwards, right? So what that allows me to do, that allows me to say 2 to the 1/3 raised to the t power, right? Do you know 2 to the 1/3? Yeah, me neither. But what can I do with 2 to the 1/3? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm putting in my calculator, right? So 2 to the 1/3. Today for our notes, we decided to go to 3 decimal places. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, right? You'll have to check in your homework what they want you to round to. Okay, read the directions. But for our notes, we went to the thousandth. So that would be 1.260, okay? 1.260 to the t power. So is the variable isolated now in the exponent? It is. So now we can decide if that's growth or decay, right? What do you think it is? Growth. And why do you think it's growth? b is greater than 1. So now here's where we have to go another step, okay? We have to go another step because the next question in your homework is by what rate is it growing? Well, if you knew this equation right here, which you're about to know, 1 plus r to the t power. This equation right here will tell you what your r is, what your growth is. So I need to rewrite that equation in this form so that I can tell what my r is. So if I rewrite this equation, what is it going to look like? 1 plus what? Well, 1 plus what number is going to equal 1.260. 0.260. Now that it's in this form right here, can you tell me the rate at which it's growing? How? How do you take this decimal and take it to a percent? So, so we multiply by 100, right? All day today people said we move the decimal place. Moving the decimal place is bad math. That's a trick. That's just bad math. You can know the math and decide to move the decimal place, but you got to know the math before you can do that. Is that fair? So take this number right here and multiply it by 100. And what do you get? 26.0%. So that is the rate of growth for this problem. Does that make sense? Do you have any questions about that problem? Good? Okay, let's do one more. Y equals A times 0.5 raised to the t over 28 power. So how do I want to rewrite it first? Okay, where can I take that? Remembering my exponent rules of power of powers, this is what it looks like right now. I can take it here. Wait, why don't we pull the t inside? Why do I pull the 1/28th inside? Well, that I could put that in the calculator, right? I can't put 0.5 to the t in the calculator. That wouldn't make any sense. I want to pull the number inside so that I can actually find that value. Now, here's the question I was asked earlier. Can I skip this step? Can I go from here to here? If your brain can do that, absolutely. Some people need to write this out and then know to pull the 1/28th inside. But if you can skip that step right here is a step you can skip. Okay? What is 0.5 to the 1/28th power? 9 what? Oh, okay, it's okay. So 0.976 to the t power. Now, is the variable isolated? Can we decide if it's growth or decay now? What is it? Decay. Why is it decay? Very good. Excuse me. What do you think this equation is here for decay? 1 minus r. I know what makes it decay is that it's less than 1 and greater than 0, but for sure less than 1. So I know it's got to be 1 minus something to get me to that number. So when I rewrite the problem, I have to figure out what do I write. 1 minus what is going to give me 0.976. Well, the easiest way to figure that out is actually say 1 minus this number right here, and that will give me that. Now you can check and make sure 1 minus 0.024 is that 0.976. Yes, it will be. Okay, so 1 minus that number right there will give me this number right here. Now, at what percent is it decreasing? 2.4%, because I took this number right here and multiplied it by 100. Very good. Any questions?